reminds me too often, so I needed to say something nice about it. But Pete really does know a lot about this stuff. He'll give you a great presentation, and I appreciate your time and your interest in it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Joe. Well, then I'll tell you about, Joe came down, he stays in Montgomery when he comes down, and he lives in Roseville, up there, big city boy. So we're driving over from Montgomery, and up ahead I see this chicken, okay? And so I kind of pull over by it, and this thing takes off running. And Joe's eyes get about this big around. He says, that chicken's got 3 legs. I don't want a thing like this. Nothing I ain't seen before. So we go, oh yeah, it kind of does. Well, that chicken is going. He says, get up closer to it. I got to see it. So I'm going to beat the band. We're doing about 25 miles an hour, and this chicken's pulling away. So I push it a little harder. We're doing 40 miles an hour, and this 3-legged chicken is moving. All of a sudden, it gets to a driveway, takes a beeline, takes a cut, takes off up the driveway. Joe says, I gotta see where this came from. This dazzles the city folk. So we go pulling up the driveway, we get up there, and the farmer comes walking out of the house, and Joe gets out and says, there was a 3-legged chicken that came in here. And the guy goes, yeah. So, well, where'd you get it? He says, there's just me and Bubba and Edna live here, and there's 3 of us, and we all like dark meat. And Bubba, he works at one of them genetic places. I think it's Syngenta or something like that. So he figured out this chicken, and he's got 3 legs. So when we have him for dinner, we all get a leg. And Joe says, that is amazing. He says, tell me, how does it taste? He says, don't know, can't catch one. So tonight, a lot of what I'm going to discuss tonight and bring to you is the same information we discussed 1 year ago. Because the information that I'm going to look at, I don't care if it rallies, if it doesn't rally. Because what we're going to be looking at is some of the things that should go in and should have been in your marketing plan. Because what do I always get to talk about? Joe gets the exciting stuff. I get to talk about marketing plans. I mean, most of you guys would rather go out and shovel out cat pens than talk about marketing. But I think this is, things have changed. I think we all remember, we're looking at this guy. Over the last 5 years, many of you made more money in farming in a year than you've ever made in your whole career. Here we were. This was farming. It don't get better than this. But now this year, in the last, I've been on here over 7 years. And one of the things I've seen over the last 7 years is the average age of the group that's sitting here has been going down. And that wasn't true probably 10 years ago. But what did I see? Well, that young guy, that young daughter that left the farm, went to the cities, got a good education, but left, got a different job. All of a sudden here a couple years ago, she says, that corn bean Arizona rotation Dad's been on ain't so bad. And that nice 4-wheel drive pickup he's driving, that ain't so bad, And they came back, and Pete, maybe there's some here tonight, they came back to the farm because of maybe what we had going on here. And now it's going to get kind of interesting because now where we've gone, as Joe mentioned, for many of us, depending on, how many bushels we got, we're below cost of production right now. We're below cost of production. So when we think about that, that's what I'm going to talk about in our presentation tonight. And I'm just going to say there's another disclaimer, same as Joe's, that what I'm going to tell you tonight, I believe I collected from reliable sources. There's risk in anything we do. Like Joe said, there's risk in farming. If anybody wants a copy of this after the presentation, I can give it to you because there's the picture. This is how I think some people thought, this is farming. I'm home, honey, in my tuxedo, getting on my new John Deere tractor. And maybe for a while it was, but going through, and I always throw this slide up there, it's not a matter of being a wizard with what I'm gonna talk about now. It's just good, common sense marketing, guys. We've gotta go back to this, because I think on that first slide, over the last 5 years, we have seen record high prices, never before hit. And they're still fresh in our minds. And maybe when we got going down and the prices start to slide, we go, gee, if I just don't do anything, maybe it'll all come back and I'll be okay. Because of those good years, those really outstanding years are still fresh in our mind. But the market will cycle. It always comes back to do when you make incredible highs, it tends to what? Come back and make lows lower than we ever thought it could. And maybe that's what we're seeing now. So my thought to you is we're going to go through some of the things from last year, because do you have a plan? And I think what happened last year is my plan was not to plan. Because we sat in this meeting, I'm going to show you some time values that say if you sell at a certain point in time during the marketing year, there's a huge percentage of times you will be at a price higher than harvest. Okay? So making that plan, because I'll tell you what we're finding this year is that if you don't have a plan, the market will make one for you. And I think that this year is coming back to something in the last 5 years we haven't come to grips with sometimes, is cash flow. Over the last, remember that first slide, the guy dancing in the cash? There's been some good years. And we had plenty of cash that we could pay our bills, we could do our prepays and everything else, and we still had corn in the bin. But now this year, I think there's going to be some decisions without a plan that are going to be dictated by the banker, by our cash flow. And generally, what have I always said, when decisions on marketing that are made because I need money are what? Joe? Some of my worst marketing decisions? And I think we're going to end up maybe seeing some of that. Because generally that plan that the market makes for you, you're not going to like it. But it works out. So what I'm going to do is say what we need to do and come away from this meeting with is not maybe so much price. But we're going to come with some ideas of time. Over the next 6 months, when should I sell grain? No matter whether there's a rally or not a rally. There's times that says this is what I should do at this period of time. Now, how you do it is what is incredibly important. Whether you use a put option, whether you use a put option spread, whether it's an HTA, whether it's a cash price, that's what I'm here for. I work for United Farmers Cooperative. I'm here for you. I'm available anytime you want to sit down to talk about some of this stuff. And that's what I do in making a plan. Price is going to be important. But I can't guarantee you, Joe can't guarantee you what price is going to be the high this year or what day it's going to happen. But I will tell you, time is going to move ahead. And we're going to go through this marketing year, and it's critical that you guys do something. You heard earlier what Nate said. What was our handle this year? Going into harvest this year, the actual contracted bushels that we had were some of the lowest we've ever done. And what did that say? You guys had not got around to selling this crop. So on the inverse of that, what did he show was one of the highest things we had? DP grain. DP grain. Because it's sitting here, and I've got to tell you, it's still, a lot of it is still sitting here, about 80% of it, and the market knows it. It's all in those numbers where they talk about what is out here, what are our grain stocks. One of the things they'll give us on January 12th is the grain stocks on hand. And the actual numbers that I'm looking at today of what the trade guesses are higher than they were on the last report. Yeah, you're right. So, with that in mind, what I'm saying is I'm going to show you a plan A tonight. The same plan A I showed you 1 year ago from now, the same plan A. And what I'm thinking here is when plan A doesn't get done, we revert back to plan B, and what can happen there is plan B is governed by dollars. $5. And that's nothing new in farming, really, when you get right down to it. Whole crop grain. Now, I just like this picture because I think it's indicative of just maybe some ways we're feeling right now. I've got it, and you ain't get it. Well, it goes up. It's gotta go up. Right, Joe? Gotta go up. The markets don't have to do anything. The markets don't have to do anything. So what I'm gonna show you tonight is say, okay, here's some charts. This is exactly the same chart we had last year. Showing what? When seasonally is the best time to make some kind of a commitment to the market. Now, what I said earlier, it doesn't have to be a cash sale. It's knowing that, should I do something with a floor? What kind of sale should I make? So here it is. Write it down. Doesn't cost anything extra. Normally, this year, now this is actually a price of July corn to where we are now. And there's the last 3 days isn't in here that we've pushed down to this kind of level, making new lows we've ever traded in the corn market, the nearby corn, whole crop. Normally, there's a low the first 2 weeks in October. What do we do? Normally, there's a low the first 2 weeks of December. What do we do? Now, normally, there's a high. These are the ones I like the best, but it can happen first week of January, first week of March, first week of April, last week of April, first week of June. This is on a seasonal average, guys, over the last 15 years. Now, do I know that any of those were going to be a big rally? Do I know what the prices will be? Not at all. Not at all. But I'll tell you that if you do something there, last year would have been better than we are now. Because now I'm going back to the same dates we looked at last year, because seasonals don't change. And we're looking right up here. Here's your, look at that. The average seasonal low is the first week in October. Look at last year. There it is. Was there the one in these? No. But there's your January high. There's your May, and June was at the absolute bottom. Now remember, I said if these markets are making any kind of a high, sell. Now I don't know, maybe you did there. But then look at this thing. What did Joe mention? What have I mentioned last year? Courage calls. Why do I call them courage calls? Because it gives you the possibility or the courage to stand up and be counted and make these sales, even though they weren't the best. Maybe this one was just a put floor because it said, oh, it can't keep going down from here, can it? Well, then in 30 days, we went up almost 80 cents in corn and came down as fast as we went. If I was sitting with a September call, would I have been in that rally? Yeah. Would I have sold it? Don't know. But I'd have been there, and I might have. I'm just saying, this is the sort of thing that can happen. This is last year. So I'm looking ahead saying, would I have been happy if I got rid of or had floors under 50% of my new crop by the time we hit the end of July? Now, if you've been farming a while, that used to be, and maybe it's coming back again, it used to be what? Have floors under half your crop by the end of July. And that's still a good thing to live by, because seasonally, that's what is going to be better than harvest time. And there it is. That's no different than what it was last year. Now, the interesting thing is, you know, this year we're still making lows. Now, let's talk season. Any thoughts on corn? Here's your July soybeans. Now, I apologize here because the same lows occur first 2 weeks in July, first week in March, last week in April, first week of June in beans, and I'm sorry you can't read, that says the first week of July. Those are your seasonal highs in soybeans. They go farther than corn, okay? They go up. Now, how you get a floor or make a sale at any one of those times are what we do when we get together to talk in the marketing groups, or how we're going to take advantage of that. Because on this chart, I can go back to the same thing. Those are going back 1 year today, when we look back here, if I did something on those seasonal dates, what did I do? Oh yeah, but that last one was a doozy. Now, one of the things that's on this chart that is interesting is, like I said, the last few days are not on this chart, and we're down dancing with the areas. One of the things that looked good today is we made new contract lows in soybeans. But we rallied and closed higher for the day. Not a lot, a nickel's a nickel, but at least it looked good. Anybody got there? Are we trading up tonight? Nobody's got their phones out? So what this is saying, I don't know what the market's gonna do. But if you do something at those time frames, I'm saying you're doing a good marketing plan. And this becomes your marketing plan. This becomes your marketing plan. There isn't any easier thing to do. Thoughts? Me? Going, yeah, marketing plan. Questions on those two charts? Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's the market telling you to do here. What is the market telling you to do? Here's your spreads. We watch spreads. We're an elevator. We live and die on marketing storage. Okay, and so we built we've got a lot of storage. We know you guys have a lot of storage. What's my favorite term for a grain bin? Monument to indecision. When I don't know what else to do, it's going in the grain bin and there it's staying until it goes up. Don't know how high, but it's staying there until it goes up. Here's your spreads that are out there right now. March to May is 6 cents. May to July is 6 cents. July to Sep is 6 cents. That's how much the market has carry in it. And you never get the carry until you sell it, but it's saying, I'll pay you this much if you store that corn for me, each one of those increments another 2 months. And then right now, what we've got is July 16 corn to July 17 is 21 cents. Now I've been picking on my wingman here, Nathan. Nathan, how, as an elevator guy, how are those spreads? What would you describe them as?
Not very good, a little over half what they should be.
Little over half of what they should be. Meaning the market is not offering you a whole lot of money to store grain. Now what I'm saying there is take a look at those monuments to indecision. We're offering a program. Right now, Nathan told you, we're starting again with free DP. Free DP. We're giving our storage away out of the goodness of our heart. I don't believe, the other groups all laugh too. Here we give you something free, and you don't want anything for free is worth having. Okay. What do I always tell you in a marketing meeting? I'm not stepping on Nathan's toes here, but what do I say? Always put on the refrigerator. The day an elevator manager or a merchandiser who does this for a living gives away as storage, that's what it's worth. 0. Okay, he's willing to take your corn in and take on all your liabilities of storage for free. Of course, we're cooperative, we give it back, but do you see what I'm getting at here, guys? Go out and look at those bins. We're giving it away. Are we doing that? Why? Because there's going to be opportunities. The thing you should do whenever you see any elevator give away its storage is you start looking for basis. Basis, because it's out there to get, and if it's not there today, it will be coming, because the market's saying, I want you guys to sell your corn. And especially when the spreads are half as much as they are and you can't sell out ahead and make any money. Where does this really come into play? If it's sitting in a commercial store and you're paying 4 cents a month on a market that's offering 6 for 2. This is just basic marketing. Now, am I telling you to sell corn? No. I'm just saying, if you need money today and the banker is saying, hey, we got some prepays coming up, or they're gone, or I gotta pay this back, there's ways to own this crop that are cheaper than hugging it and kissing it or playing commercial store on it. That's all I'm saying. Now, There's lots of ways to do it, okay? And that's why when I'm putting in a plug here for those times when we have marketing groups to talk about it, or I'm available anytime, or Nathan, Matt, Brett, we're all available, Daryl, to talk about this because we can give you ideas of how you can generate cash and still keep ownership in the market, because right now, what traditionally are we in? What's the good old Roy Smith term for this times of the year? The John Deere lows. And why were they called the John Deere lows? Because this was the time the farmers generally need money. And when you're needing money and what do you gotta do? You tend to go to the bin and sell it off if you need it. And the market likes to buy it at its lows, right? So I'm not telling you to sell. I'm just telling you, you use your marketing skills here to generate cash if that is the situation. Because soybeans are worth 2.5 times the price of corn, which means they should have a cost to carry 2.5 times higher. Look at those numbers, guys. Are they 2.5 times higher than that? And if I'm paying the commercial store 4 cents a month, it just don't work. So marketing-wise, this is what we do at the marketing groups to to talk about this kind of thing. Basis. My wingman again, he's sitting over there smiling. Because I gotta tell you, I'm sitting here, usually, this time of the year, you harvest it, you shove it in, even if it's in commercial store, we should be selling it on this time because why? Basis should be narrowing up. Nathan, how's our basis?
Historically weak.
Historically weak. That's elevator talk for it sucks. It's wide. We know it. We are trying to sell it narrower. Be on the lookout though, because we are offering free DP. That says what? Maybe it'll be narrowing up. This is the time when you look at it and say, what basis do I want? What basis do I want? Why do I always put a plate of cookies up in there? Basis is like a plate of cookies. If you don't put out your order, have something out there for the market to take, when that plate comes around, you better take it. Take one. Because basis comes and goes. And when the plate comes back, Jeff, it could be what? Empty. Basis, basis, basis. And so get out there. If you're sitting with corn, put offers to the market. Because you'll never get it. If you don't put an offer to the market, or put an offer in somewhere, it stays a wish. That's all it is. I got a wish out there. And too many times those wishes go, boy, if that price came back, I'd do it next time. I'd do it next time. Well, Joe alluded to, and I'm going to talk about futures and options. I am a broker. Now, if you happen to have corn sitting in a big, nice silver Monument Day decision, or it's in commercial store and a big palatial grain loader, rail loader. I just had to do it. What is the difference in risk of that and a piece of paper? Because I do this all the time. A put or a call option strategy, or even a futures trade. A piece of paper, the futures market. Is there any difference, Joe? None. None. It's just that you can hug and kiss a bin and don't even feel it if it goes down. But if you should have to make a margin call, oh my gosh, what is a margin call? It just means the market went down from where you sold it or where you want to own it in the board. The thing is, you just don't feel it there. And you only feel it to 4 cents a month there. So right now the margin requirement for a contracted corn, which is 5,000 bushels, is $1,000. That's about double that for soybeans. Now think about that. If you sold 5,000 bushels of soybeans, how much cash you generate, and to own that back, how much money it takes. Are we talking cash flow now? Are we talking more risk? No, we're just talking, guys, you have to get used to using the tools that are out there to keep farming. Can't just keep locking it up in the bin and saying, I'm going to wait till it goes higher. Whether it's a call option spread, a future strategy to keep your ownership of old crop, there's ways to do it. And everybody here has got a different risk tolerance. I'll accept that. So there's lots of different ways to skin that cat. That's why his eyes are so big. You know? And on the new crop, all those places where I showed you when selling the old crop that's still here, what should you be doing with new crop? You should be getting floors underneath it, getting some kind of floors. Now, if those prices aren't high enough you like, what can I do? I can use a put, or a put strategy somehow that is within my comfort level to get floors when I'm going, geez, that isn't as high as I'd like, but maybe it's at a pricing period when I'm supposed to do something, and if I don't do anything, I could get caught at harvest time without enough done. Does that pretty well describe it, Alan, you think? Because anybody who did some of that there that aren't feeling maybe as bad or maybe as uncertain what the market is doing right now. This is the same thing with what Joe alluded to, courage calls. Go out there and buy something in the September time frame for corn. Spend a nickel. Because if, you know, this ice thing, that's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be see if what comes through. Because or the biggest drought that's ever been in South Africa, or the floods that are going on in, well, Brian, St. Louis. How often do you have floods in December? Very seldom or never. Okay, is there stuff going on this year? But we can't base our marketing program and say, this might happen, because if it doesn't, we get caught in a bad situation. So a courage call is something, I'll tell you right up front, buy courage calls, but always buy them in multiples of 2. Buy 2, don't spend more than a dime. And on that courage call, somewhere in the marketing year, this is the same thing I said last year, when that 5 cents, when that 8 cents, whatever it is, on that September 460 call, or whatever it happens to be, doubles. And it's not hard to double a small option in a rally type market. You sell one of them, or sell half of your position. And what does that do? That gets your money off the board. Because Joe hit it right on the head, 80% of options expire worthless as tits on a board. You don't want to sit there with it, oh, excuse me. They're not a good thing. I mean, they are a good thing to use in marketing, but you just, next slide. Okay. What I'm trying to do is, okay, what we're trying to do here is with options or whatever, get your risk in a measurable uncertainty, which is knowing your risk. Uncertainty is when you have no idea what your risk is. And right now, corn in the bin with anything has an uncertain risk. But I'm not telling you to go out and buy options against old crop, I mean corn, especially new crop corn. What will you guys be doing in the next 60 days? Not this 30 days, but the 30 days after. In February. Insurance, crop insurance. So if you do feel like you need something on old new crop, especially new crop, do something that's short term. Do something that's short term. So after you pay out your insurance premiums on whatever that average price of the December contract in February is, you're not locked into something that you paid more money for because you're always going to buy your insurance. Okay? Cure for low prices is low prices, John Deere low. So I'm not telling you it's got to go up, but I'm just saying we're within, if we're not at the lows, I'm hoping we're getting close. So let me leave you with this thought that, you know, you got to come up with now on that old crop, what price do I want? What price do I need? When do I need it? And start thinking about that, because if you don't have a plan, you won't know, if you don't know where you're going, you won't know when you get there. Marketing groups, here's my plug. I'm going to be running them again. They'll start in February. We're going to be getting together in different places here and around our trade area talking about these very things. Joe even told me he'd be a guest market analyst over the phone for me at the marketing groups. You know, that's what we do. You've got to learn to use all the tools in the toolbox. But whatever we talked about tonight, you know, the last time I checked, they are not giving away money in Chicago. I am sure, you know, you gotta work for it, and don't go out and ever do anything we discussed here unless you thoroughly understand what we talked about, because it can be hazardous to your wealth. So I'm here to help you get through those hazardous times with the marketing groups. Now, something new that we're trying this year with the help of our IT department and Dan, who's walking me through this, is marketing, is when I hold a marketing group this year, ahead of that marketing group, I'm gonna put little things on our website that you can go to research and read about what I'm gonna discuss at the marketing group. What is a call option? What is a stratum? What is a basis contract? What is all these things? So you can go to our website and read about this stuff, or read it as many times as you want, so when you come to a marketing group, you will have some background, because what I'm finding is when we have this sort of thing, these guys over here have traded options. They're whiz-bang. They've been doing it a while, they've come to classes, they've done it before, they know. This group over here, they sort of know what's going on. They've been to some stuff and they kind of know. This group over here, they ain't got a clue. They ain't got a clue. And they come to the marketing meetings, and what I find happens is that group, if I can't say, okay, now we're gonna go back and call option is the right, not the obligation to own futures under a certain contract, and this is the strike price, la da 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 da. Because then by the time I get done, we haven't covered what we needed to do. So we're trying something new, because I want you to get as much out of these kind of meetings that we're offering, you know, UFC is offering, you know, so you can learn this stuff. You know, because I've talked to too many guys that with these tools will say, yeah, I tried one of them, their call options once, and I lost all my money, and I ain't never doing that again. Well, you ever use a put? I don't know. I'm not sure if I had a put or a call. You know, it's not one of them there things. Well, what I'm trying to do is say, we're going to try it. Can't hurt. And I'll let you guys know when this is coming up. And I'll tell you where to go on the website, right, Dan, to get this information, and just get involved with the. No one knows how high, how low it's going to go. The only thing I do know that those time frames, at least two of them, will be highs in the market. Going out of the limit. The trick is to make money to keep on farming. We cannot lose money year after year. The thought we're talking here is farming could be really tough, not only this year, but next year, depending on what? You know, the weather, you bet. And never market this year like you wish you'd have marketed last year, or the year before, whatever. Every year stands alone. You have to have your marketing plan that encompasses a standard program. You're getting a lot of opinions tonight. They're like belly buttons. Everybody has one. I used to say something else, but so, guys, we're here to help. Have a plan. Have a plan, because that's what we're here to do, and it make your life a whole lot easier. Question? Thank you, guys.